Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a really intriguing corner of the digital world. It's kind of haunting, actually. We're talking about the digital graveyards of forgotten crypto wallets. Just imagine that. Fortunes in digital currency, right there on a public ledger, everyone can see them, but completely unreachable. Millions, maybe even billions, in lost Bitcoin, just sitting there, untouched. Like a digital Atlantis.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just, a hypothetical thing. This is real. As of this year, 2025, Chainalysis, their big name in blockchain analytics, tracking this stuff, they report over 20% of all Bitcoin, that's BTC, of course, over 3 million coins just gone, considered lost irretrievably.
Wow, 20%? That's huge.
It's staggering. So our mission in this deep dive is really to unpack that. How do these digital treasures just vanish? What does it mean for the market? And, why it's such a stark reminder of, human nature in this tech world we've built.
Okay, so let's start right there with the how. When we talk about these wallets, sometimes holding massive amounts, just sitting dormant, what usually happens? How do people lose access completely? Is it always just like carelessness? Or is there more to it?
It's rarely simple, Carelessness is part of it, sure. But the most common cause is losing the private key or the seed phrase. That's that unique, super complex string of words or characters. It's the only thing that gives you access.
Right. No password reset button on the blockchain.
Exactly. No forgot password option here. And losing it can happen in so many ways. A hard drive could die, get corrupted. A physical backup, like a piece of paper, gets lost or thrown away. Maybe you accidentally delete a file. Or maybe you just plain forget a really complex password you set up years ago. Think about the early adopters mining Bitcoin when it was worth like pennies.
Yeah, you wouldn't have treated it like Fort Knox back then.
Precisely. And we've even seen sad cases where owners passed away and they didn't leave clear instructions or any instructions for their digital assets. So poof, locked away forever.
It's sobering. That weird mix of like permanent technology and just human forgetfulness.
Oh.
Which brings us to something you mentioned earlier, a kind of psychological effect.
Yeah, yes. It's fascinating. There's this, it's not official, but people talk about crypto amnesia anxiety. It's that sudden, nagging feeling in a, should I check that old laptop in the attic? That dusty USB stick in a drawer?
Oh, I know that feeling, the what if.
Exactly, that what if. Did I have something on there? Did I forget a fortune? It really highlights the burden of self-custody in crypto. You are your own bank. The blockchain, it's immutable, it remembers everything. But us, humans, we make mistakes, we get distracted, we forget things. And that contrast, the perfect digital record versus our imperfect human memory, that's really at the core of this whole phenomenon.
That anxiety is definitely relatable. Okay, but let's zoom out a bit. Beyond the individual what-ifs, if millions of Bitcoins are just gone, effectively out of circulation, what does that do to the market? What's the economic ripple effect?
Right. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for the whole ecosystem. These lost coins, they don't just disappear without a trace, economically speaking. They actually change Bitcoin's fundamental economics by basically shrinking the total amount of Bitcoin that can actually be traded or used.
It makes the rest scarcer.
Precisely. It artificially increases the scarcity. Think of it like discovering a rare mineral is even rarer than we thought. The supply that's still accessible just becomes inherently more valuable. So some economists argue this lost Bitcoin acts as a kind of hidden, constant deflationary pressure. It quietly reinforces that digital gold narrative because the supply is effectively permanently shrinking over time due to human error.
That's a built-in scarcity mechanism that, regular money doesn't have. They can just print more.
Exactly. Central banks can print more fiat currency. Nobody can print more Bitcoin beyond the protocol limit, and nobody can recover these lost coins. It creates this really unique dynamic. It almost sets a kind of psychological floor under the value because everyone knows a chunk is just gone forever, removed from the game.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. What does all this mean for you listening? For anyone involved in crypto, it seems clear it's not just about being early or making clever trades. There's more to it.
Yeah, I think this deep dive really shows something profound. The blockchain remembers everything, every transaction, every address, every lost chance. But we humans, we're fallible. We mess up. So it really underscores how incredibly important diligent self-custody is. You have to stay connected, stay mindful, and crucially, absolutely crucially, back up your private keys or seed phrases. Multiple times, securely.
Because, as we've clearly seen today in this particular digital universe, forgotten really does mean forever. Makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe you do have an old USB stick somewhere, an old laptop tucked away. What if? Maybe worth one last look. You never know what digital ghost might just be waiting there.